Afternoon, Youth Council. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you. It is 12:14, Tuesday, August 20th, and I am calling this meeting of the DNC Youth Council to order. So good afternoon, y'all. Hi, my name's Andre Triber. I serve as chair of the DNC Youth Council. Thank you. Thank you. And I just have one question, which is, where are my young Democrats at? All right. I thought we'd find some in this room, but we also want to be sure we're welcoming the young at heart as well. Everyone's welcome here at Youth Council. So thank you so very much. The Youth Council is the organization that organizes, that's a double word, the young folks within the DNC. All members under 36 automatically serve on the Youth Council, plus we have some at-large members. So if you're a member of the DNC Youth Council, can you stand so we can recognize you? I know I got some of y'all. I got some over there. We got some folks here. Thank you all for being here. We are a small council, but we are mighty. Now, before we fully kick things off, we do have a land acknowledgement that I'm going to read at this time. The Democratic National Committee wishes to acknowledge that we gather together to state our values on lands that have been stewarded through many centuries by the ancestors and descendants of tribal nations who have been here since time immemorial. We honor the communities native to this continent and recognize that our country was built on Indigenous homelands. We pay our respects to the millions of Indigenous people throughout history who have protected our lands, waters, and animals. While we meet in Chicago, we also recognize and honor the traditional homelands of the Anishinaabe, also known as the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi nations. We acknowledge the many other tribes who also consider this area their traditional homeland, including the Mia, the Menominee, the Sac and Fox, Peoria, Kaskakia, Wea, Kickapoo, and Muscooten. Democrats continue to support tribes as they advocate for the United States to uphold treaty and trust responsibilities, and we applaud that in 2024, under the Biden and Harris administration, the Prairie Band of Potawatomi Nation became the first federally recognized tribal nation in Illinois in 175 years, when the U.S. Department of the Interior placed 130 acres of the Chabanais Reservation in nearby DeKalb County into trust. Thank you. And now we've got a packed program. We're gonna have speakers, we're gonna have a presentation from the campaign, we're gonna have a panel, and we start a little bit late, so I'm just gonna cut any remarks no one really wanted to hear from me, and we're gonna get right to some introductions. So the very first person we'd like to bring up and have speak with us is going to be Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller from Maryland. She is an awesome stalwart advocate for youth. Some of her priorities include STEM education for women and people of color, transportation, and I'm a transportation nerd, so I'm really down with that, and working on behavioral health. And she was also the first woman of South Asian descent elected to be a lieutenant governor in the United States. So without further ado, I'm incredibly happy to welcome up Lieutenant Governor Miller.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I gotta tell you, this is so great to see so much youth here being, participating at the Democratic National Convention. And you all are the future, right? You're the future of our country. You're the ones whose voices need to be heard, whose policies need to address the challenges every one of you are facing. And I just want to say it is great to have that you have created this youth council. And Andre, I believe it's existed from 2005, is that right? Yep. Yeah. Can we give it up for your chairman here, Andre? Is he awesome? So I understand he is from Texas, and he told me when we took a photo, you gotta do a photo like this. Hook it, he told me. Okay? Yeah, you Texans get that, don't you? Andre, thank you for your leadership. And I also want to give a big shout out to Talik. He is from Washington, D.C., so very close to my state of Maryland. Thank you. Listen, one of the things that let me ask you all this question. How many of you, is this the first time that you're attending a convention? Democratic now. Wow, this is so great. Well, welcome. And I want to leave something with you. Make sure you continue to attend these conventions, because this is such an important opportunity to meet people who have a lot of influence in this nation, right? You need to make these connections. A lot of times when you think about networking, it seems like such a negative term, but see it as your social capital. Because the more people you meet, the more opportunities will be available, more doors can open up for you. So really, really soak in all 4 days that you're going to be here. Go to as many speaking engagements like this and learn about the policies that are going to impact your life. One of my favorite sayings is, it says, patriotism is not a short, frenzied outburst of emotion, but rather it's a tranquil, steady dedication of a lifetime. And what you all are doing here is patriotic, because you want your voice to be part of the policies that are going to shape the future of our nation and in your state, in your communities. And last night at the DNC, I thought that was a really good reflection of what our country is. You had the remarkable Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that got up, right, and spoke. Man, she brought the roof down at the convention center. She was amazing. Now, AOC, I'll just call her that for right now, Congressman AOC got elected when she was, 29 years old, right? So here's the thing. Yesterday when she gave the speech, she's 34 years old. On the same evening, we heard from President Joe Biden, 81 years old. So look at the gap between the two of them, 47 years of patriotism in between, right? Because Joe Biden got elected when he was 28 years old as a US Senator. So yes, you start off youthful and you can make so much changes, but never forget, every single day you got to continue to be engaged and bring on the changes that you're looking for. Again, patriotism isn't just, a short burst of emotion. It continues throughout your entire lifetime. And, make sure that you do that and you understand the power of your voice. I spent most of my life walking into spaces and into rooms that look nothing like me. Whether it was being an immigrant, growing up in a Western world, or as a female engineer in a field that was dominated by males, or as a state legislator in a legislature that looked nothing like me. And in the beginning, I used to think this was a sign that I wasn't meant to be in these rooms or these spaces. It's not a sign you're not meant to be there. It's a force telling you you have to be there, right? A force where you have the power to make these spaces bigger so other people that come in after you can feel comfortable about being in those rooms and in those spaces. So always remember that when you walk into places that don't look like you, it's a force telling you that you have to be there. And along the way, I had this great opportunity to run for public office, and I understood the impact that policy has on our lives, and all of you already understand that. Look, policy making has an impact on your life from the moment you wake up till the moment you close your eyes. Everything that you do in your daily lives is impacted by policymakers. That's why you need to be engaged as much as you can. So continue to mobilize, continue to organize, continue to energize each other. And then I will leave you with another one of my favorite quotes. And it says that the two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day you discover why. When you discover your why, it's your purpose in life. And when you discover that, I hope that you make service a central part of your life, because service is what's going to save this country. Service is what brings us together and really fight for a common cause that we want to work towards. You know, there's a lot of rhetoric out there, how polarized we are. And I want you to remember, yes, as Kamala Harris and Tim Walz remind us, when we fight, we win, but remember what you're fighting for. Do not fight against something, fight for something, right? Fight for equality, fight for closing the racial gap, fight for protecting our environment, fight for our reproductive rights, fight for the youth voice in everything that's going to happen in this country. Remember that. Bring the temperature down. Don't go and scream and yell like the other side does. Fight for what's good about everything in our country. And what's good about our country is every one of you. Thank you for having me here.
Please keep it going for Lieutenant Governor Miller.
Hey, can we do a selfie here? All right, here we go. You want to hold it to it? Yeah. There we go. All right, here we go.
And 1, 2, 3. I'm trying, y'all.
All right, we got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you. Y'all, I was so excited to get started that literally the 1 30-second piece of housekeeping I needed to do, I didn't do. And that is, we have a vacancy in our vice chair, and president of High School Democrats, Annika Crovey, is going to serve as temporary vice chair for the purposes of this meeting. And I'm going to give her a quick moment to introduce herself before our next guest.
Hey folks, how we feeling? High school Dems, make some noise. I'm gonna keep this short. I appreciate Andre for the opportunity, and I just wanna say thank you to all of you for showing up, for being here. As a quick show of hands, how many of you will this be your first time voting in a presidential election? That is power. That means something. Our votes matter, our voices matter, and the fact that we are all here and showing up, it's gonna be my first election voting too. I'm so glad to talk about how we can build youth power, how we can make sure more young folks are elected in our party, and how we can be the future and the present of this party. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for stepping up to serve in that vacancy. Our next guest, when I can get the page to them, is Chairman Andrew Alejandre, who Andrew Drew Alejandre was elected chairman of the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians in September 2016. Prior to being elected chairman, he served as tribal secretary starting in April 2014. Alejandre grew up in nearby Williams and moved to Corning when the tribe opened Rolling Hills Casino in 2001. So please, Chairman, come on up.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Fantastic. As you heard, my name is Andrew Alejandre. I'm the tribal chairman for the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians in the greater, beautiful Northern California. It is a real pleasure and honor to be here, and thank you, Chairperson, for inviting me here. You know, when I think of our future and I think of, the next generation, we really have to lay a strong foundation. As a tribal leader, that's something that's very important to me. The youth, the young people, the future generations, what are we doing to prepare them? And some of those things are through education and through climate change. Up in Northern California, we face a lot of natural disasters such as fires, but the environment is so important to us. It is what takes care of us. As Native people, we know the earth as Mother Earth, and it is what nourishes us and gives us through plants, animals, water. It provides for us, but we also have to take care of her. We also have to do the things necessary to be able to make this a sustainable living environment for our future generations. They're the ones that are going to be here. As well as education. Education is so important, but we have to have the right resources. We have to provide the right opportunities for these young people, for all of you. It's so important and it's so crucial to have the right needs to be able to prepare our future generations. As you know, as I always say in my own community, something that I always want to make sure I'm doing is when I'm done being a leader, when I'm done, leadership will never end for me, but when my time is up as a tribal leader, I want to leave this a better environment than what I came into, so that these future generations can focus on the needs that they need to focus on, not cleaning up the mess that was left behind. So thank you again for the opportunity to be here. I'm so grateful, and it is a true honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Our next guest, Dylan Baca, the Harris Campaign Northern Arizona Political Director, Chairman of the Indigenous Peoples Initiative, is originally from Pine Top, Arizona. Dylan Baca is a citizen of the Navajo Nation and White Mountain Apache tribe. Growing up as a member of the Navajo Nation, Dylan felt keenly attuned to the social, economic, and political obstacles faced by Indigenous peoples. As a leader, an advocate, supporter, and advisor within Indian country, Dylan has served as chairman of both the Indigenous Peoples Initiative Board of Trustees, where he contributes to policy development alongside tribal leaders, state lawmakers, federal policymakers, and officials on Indigenous issues within Arizona and across the United States, and within the Arizona Human Trafficking Prevention Committee, where he's worked to ensure students and educators are knowledgeable about the warning signs, prevention, and effects of human trafficking. So Dylan, please come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. History has shown us that young people come together. We do more than demand change, we create it. It is great to be here with you today. My name is Dylan Baca. Currently, I serve on the Harris campaign as the Northern Arizona Regional Political Director and Native American Political Director. I'm also happy to be here in my capacity as an Arizona delegate for Kamala Harris. We, as a society, before I get to that, I want to acknowledge that I was formerly the Chief of Staff of the College Democrats of America and want to recognize their hard work, as well as our High School Democrats of America and our Young Democrats of America. Thank you all, and then the work of our Youth Council. So, we as a society are perpetually in transit between a past that forms its memory and a vision of the future that inspires its evolution. As leaders, we must think and act at the intersectionality of two axes. The first between the past and the present, the second between the abiding values and aspirations of those we lead. For our ideas to inspire our community, we must serve as educators, communicating objectives, assuaging doubts, and of course, rallying support. Today, we gather at a crucial moment in our nation's history, a time when the choices we make, the paths we choose, will define not just our future, but the futures of generations yet to come. As young people, we often are told that we are the leaders of tomorrow. I stand before you to remind you that we are not just leaders, but we are the leaders of today. And with that leadership becomes a profound responsibility and determination to heal our nation. The world around us is changing rapidly. The challenges we face, climate change, economic inequality, social injustice, are immense and can feel overwhelming. In the face of these challenges, it is easy to retreat into a mindset of self-preservation, to focus on what benefits us personally. We must resist that temptation and recognize that our best hopes, our best strength, lies not in individual success, but in collective progress. So I say to you, for the next 70-something days, let's not just imagine a better future, let's create it. With courage, with conviction, and with the unstoppable power of youth. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Sarah Benatar, who has been serving as the Coconino County Treasurer since 2014, becoming the youngest county treasurer in the state of Arizona. Sarah dedicates herself to ensuring a better community for all citizens of Coconino County. As treasurer, she focuses on ensuring taxpayer dollars are accounted for through strong fiscal responsibility while maintaining a customer service-oriented office. Since coming to office, she has received national recognition for innovation and efficiency in government finance and treasury management, speaking nationally with organizations such as governing and testifying before Congress. So please welcome Sarah Benatar.
Good afternoon, everyone. Who's excited to be here today? Okay, let's do that one more time. Who's excited to be here today? A little louder. So all of us are here today because we all know one thing. We can't go back, and we won't go back. So my mom came to the U.S. from Guatemala with a dream. A future where her children could get an education and end the cycle of poverty. A future where her daughter could actually have rights and make choices that no other woman in our family had ever been able to do. She was a single mom, and she worked multiple jobs to help that dream come true. And growing up, she said, Sarita, that's what she called me, vas a ir al colegio, vas a ayudar a otros y vas a apoyar a los que ayudan a todos. She said, you're going to go to college. You're going to help others, and you're going to support those who help everyone, and that's what Democrats do. So in 2016, my mom became a citizen and got to vote in her first election. And she voted Democrats up and down the ballot because she knew how important that was. But after 2016, like so many Americans, our lives changed and life got a little harder. My mom lost her job. She struggled to find employment. She then was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, and she lost her ability to walk. And like many young Americans and many of us in this room, I took care of my mom physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. My husband and I work full-time jobs. We're paying bills. We started a family. I was running for re-election. We were paying student loans, and we're taking care of my mom. And that is a story that so many young Americans are dealing with on a daily basis and have for a long time. But President Biden and Vice President Harris, when they came into office, things changed for the better and life got a little bit easier. My mom was actually finally able to receive the health care that she needed. My husband had his student loans forgiven, and mine are in the process right now of being forgiven. But I don't have to tell you all in this room, there is a lot more work to be done, and if we don't elect Kamala, all the progress that I just talked about, it will all go away. My daughter deserves, you all deserve, I deserve, every single American deserves the right to decide what's best for their bodies, to get an education without going into horrible debt, and a president who will tackle the climate crisis for generations to come. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will fight to codify abortion rights. They will work to make higher education affordable. They will protect public education. They will address the climate crisis, and they will ensure that all Americans have a future. But now I'm going to ask you all to do something. I need all of you in this room to help. And that's more than just making a plan to vote. We need you to go back. We need you to volunteer. We need you to tell your friends to vote. We need you to energize and mobilize. I'm in Arizona. I am in a swing state. I need every single person in this room to help. And you can help from your couch. You can help from your bed. You can help anywhere you're at. Because every American needs you. So I'm going to end with, my mom passed a few weeks ago. And one of the last things she wanted was she wanted to see our first female president because she knew that the dream that she worked so hard for, that all of us in this room worked so hard for, and that we want for ourselves and our next generations are not going to happen if she is not in the White House. And it will not happen if we do not elect Democrats up and down the ballot. So it's time to get to work, because when we fight,
We win!
when we fight,
We win!
gracias.
Thank you.
Youth Council, I'm going to need y'all to get real loud in just a moment. We've got a special guest that I am so thrilled to introduce. Some call him Coach, some call him Governor, but we're all going to call him the next Vice President of the United States, Governor Tim Walz.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 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 Feels like 6th hour right after lunch. Here we go. Mr. Chair, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your vision. To each and every one of you, thank you for believing in this country. You heard me say this. One of my biggest fears is that the poisonous politics that you've grown up witnessing turns into cynicism for you. And there's nothing worse, because the promise of our country truly in this room, it's not a cliche. Those of us who teach, we know that we impact the future. And there's nothing more gratifying than to provide the tools and the necessary for you to thrive, but for this generation, as you've been doing it, stepping up and taking the leadership. Look, we have issues we have to solve. And I keep talking about this. The issue around climate change, you need to take a role in this. You know why? I'll be dead long before the impact feels to you. And this generation that doesn't think they need to do a damn thing, you and your kids are going to feel the brunt of it if we don't attack it. So I said, if they're asking why should the youth be involved in these, because every issue we make, whether it's about protecting the democracy, whether it's around climate, or whether it's around how do we make sure, and I just want to be clear about this, the generation that came before me invested in my generation. So people saying now, why should we do student loan repayments? Because we didn't have to get them because the cost wasn't so damn expensive on the front end. When I graduated high school, you could have taken a minimum wage job in the summer and paid the tuition cost at the University of Minnesota for a year. So the economics of this are upside down. And when they gave student loans, they were guaranteed with low or no interest instead of farming them out for personal profit to banks, to corporate profits on the back of education. So for all of you, all the issues that impact you, all of the issues that matter, being engaged in this. And look, part of the plan of some folks is to make you cynical, make you believe it doesn't matter. But somebody asked me, I'm a 40-something high school teacher, no money, no political experience, and it was my students got me engaged. And the next thing, be careful with this, because the next thing you know, you're a vice presidential nominee on this, because that's the way it happens. So, I don't have a family in this. I don't have a federal judge in my family. I'm just like so many of us. I'm grateful for a country that gave me an opportunity to get a great public school education, go to a great public university. And for so many of these things, it's our party that let's take back some of these things. We're the party of freedom. We're the party that loves this country. You don't get to stand in front of a flag and then crap all over the country. You stand in front of the flag, and that flag means you say it, it's in the Pledge of Allegiance, justice and liberty for all, for everyone, this inclusion. So, you've heard me say it a little bit. The obsession these folks have with being in your exam room and telling women that they know more about their health care than anyone else, or telling us about our families, or the idea of being in your bedroom and telling you who can you love, or the idea that they'll tell you what books to read or whatever, none of that is freedom. None of that is freedom. And you hear me say this, and I'll continue to say it. I pointed out to them, and they're really sad about it, so they hit me every day on something. That's just weird behavior to do that. They're just too excessive. It's not them, it's the behavior. And I also say this a lot. You know how things work best, and your generation knows this? You do you, I'll do me, and mind your own damn business. That's the only thing it needs to be. In Minnesota, we believe it. In Minnesota, we believe it. Every child that comes to school in Minnesota, we don't have lunch tickets. We don't have any of that crap. Everybody gets breakfast and lunch. Everybody together. Kamala Harris believes in this. She talks about it every day. Talks about making college affordable. In Minnesota, if your family makes less than $80,000 a year, you go to school free in Minnesota to get a college education. And I don't promote it with my children, but when you're 21, you make your own decisions. If you're going to burn a blunt on the weekend, you do it. Those are the things you do. I don't pick your vision. That is what adults do. That is what a fair society does. Our job is to build the roads, make sure you have health care, make sure you have the opportunity to succeed, make sure that we're paying a fair wage, make sure that you can have comfort when you get to a point where you can retire like your parents and grandparents to have a defined benefit pension plan. So look, this is the fight of a lifetime. This is the one where you should, and I know you do, this is a privilege to be in this fight. It's a pain in the butt to have to do some of this. It's a lot of extra work. But it's a privilege. I guarantee you, the stories that you will tell and your generation will tell, because look, this thing's going to be close. It is going to be closer than it should be. It's going to be won in the trenches. It's going to be won by your demographic for the most part. If we can turn you out and get you to vote, that's how it's going to be done. And it'll be you who elected the first woman president of the United States. It'll be you that protected women's reproductive rights. It'll be you that said this democracy's worth fighting for. And when do you get a chance in 77 days, to make a mark on generations to come globally? When do you get to make a mark that stands up for people who don't have a voice against the most powerful and the richest? When do you get a chance to say, we're not only going to be listened to, we're going to start leading and making the decisions? This is what's happening right now. And I've been saying it. You've got all the energies. You can go on dew and pizza for 77 days. Sleep when you're dead. Sleep when you're dead. Not now. Not now. Let's win this thing. Thank you all.
Keep it going for our next Vice President, Governor Tim Walz. Yep. So what's up? Is he next? Well, yeah, if you could get Tyler. Okay. Yep. Thank you everyone so much for being such a welcoming host for our next Vice President. We've got some more folks waiting in the wings. Now the next person I've got to bring up, his bio's missing from the packet, but that's okay, because I actually think I got this one down because he's my former boss. But coming up next on stage is going to be Congressman Greg Casar from Austin, a former city council member who cut his teeth organizing for labor, organizing for immigrants, organizing for those that have the least among us. And he was on the front lines. And after being an organizer, he stepped up, and now he's a leader for the exact same people that he's taking care of at home. So please join me in welcoming Congressman Greg Casar. Buenas tardes, Chicago! Who's ready to turn Governor Walz into Vice President Walz? Who's ready to turn Vice President Harris into President Harris? Who's ready to win this election and win the world that we deserve? I'm sure that all day today folks have come and talked about how young people are going to be key to this election. But it isn't just us, and it isn't just in this moment. Because throughout American history, it has been young people that have saved this democracy. It is throughout American history that has been young people that have formed a more perfect union here. You're about to hear from State Rep Pearson. If you go to his hometown in Tennessee and you look at the photographs, the black and white photographs of the lunch counter sit-ins during the Civil Rights Movement, and you look real close, it was community college students and college students that were filling those jails every single day until segregation ended in this country. And it's young people from all over the country, especially in the South. If you come to Texas, you actually can find the birthplace of the current minimum wage and the labor movement. When a 22-year-old labor organizer named Emma Tenayuca started the pecan shellers strike in San Antonio, and thousands of Mexican American women in their 20s led the labor movement and birthed the modern labor movement in this country. If you've ever heard of the Supreme Court case Roe v. Wade, then you've probably maybe heard of Sarah Weddington from my district in Austin, from Austin, Texas, who was just a few years out of law school. She'd never taken a case to trial before, and she decided to sue the district attorney of Dallas, Henry Wade. Everybody said that she couldn't do it. Everybody said she doesn't have the experience, but she knew Texas's abortion ban was wrong decades ago. She took it up to the Supreme Court and brought abortion rights to this entire country by winning the case Roe v. Wade. And it's gonna be young people in their 20s and 30s from all across this country, especially in banned states like Texas, that win abortion rights back. And not so long ago, it was young people who flooded airports when Trump announced his Muslim ban against our Muslim brothers and sisters and stopped those planes from deporting people. It is young people who went out onto the streets protesting against the murder of George Floyd, demanding
respect for black lives in this country. It is young people pushing for peace in the Middle East today that are pushing our party to do the right thing. It is young people that are doing that work every single day. And it's young people who are going to make sure that we don't go back. Because it's the same folks. It's those same volunteers. It's your friends. It's your family members. It's those people who weren't involved in politics before, but then politics came and messed with their lives, that helped make sure that I got elected to city council as a 25-year-old, that I got elected to the United States Congress, and that now I'm accountable to this movement of young people here to make sure that we don't win elections for no good reason, but to deliver for the generations to come. And it is your work that is going to not only restore abortion rights, but voting rights to every single person in this country, immigrant or native born, regardless of their past, to make sure everybody has a right to determine the future, to make sure our future is fueled by good union climate jobs. That's what young people are going to demand in this election, and from a Harris-Wallace administration, and from young members of Congress like us. It is going to be your energy and your work that is necessary to deliver the kinds of transformative change that the vast majority of this country wants. Because the things that folks say are progressive and too far out there, too often we confuse the political center from the difference between that and the moral center. You know, it wasn't that long ago that I got to vote in my first election for President Barack Obama. And back then, and it was an exciting time, back then it was considered a young people's dream, a progressive ideal to legalize gay marriage. But it was young people and people coming out and activists of all generations uniting to bring the moral center to the political center and get that done. That's exactly what it is that we need to do to win everybody a right to a union, to win everybody a right to paid sick time, to make sure that every single family has the child care that they deserve, that everybody here can afford to own a home and to have a family. That isn't extreme, that isn't progressive, that isn't a pipe dream, that's what our people want. And the only way to do it is to push the Congress to do things that we believe are impossible. But we have dealt, honestly, with bigger challenges than this before. I know that you've probably heard a lot of times at the convention that this is the most impossible, the most consequential election ever. Maybe it is of our lifetimes, but I'm just going to disagree a little bit here. Think about it. There used to have to be a movement to push the Congress to do something incredible, which was to pass the 13th Amendment and send it to the states to abolish slavery in this country. There was a movement of emancipated and formerly enslaved people that pushed us to do that. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that, amongst bloodshed and horrors, movements of people in this country were able to push the United States Congress to abolish slavery. In 1919, in a Congress entirely of men, a movement of women were able to push to get the Congress to push out the 19th Amendment to give women voting rights in this country. Isn't that incredible? So we have that kind of legacy to uphold. We are called to a similar moment to say, we take seriously this thing about everybody's rights being equal. We take seriously this thing about our country and our democracy working for working people, and we expect no less. We're going to deliver no less. This election is about building towards that future, and we're going to get there with Harris and Walz, but with each and every one of you, making sure this is a lifetime commitment to organizing for young people in this generation and to pass the torch along to the generations to come. And I'm in it with you guys every step of the way. As long as we're vertical here, y'all, let's get this thing done. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Congressman Kassar. The next guest I'm incredibly excited to introduce because for those of you that know me, you know I worked in the Texas legislature for a long time. So I've seen what it's like front line in a red legislature, and I've seen those hit dogs hollering when you call out the Republicans in a house they think they own. So our next speaker is State Representative Justin Pearson. Justin Pearson's a dedicated leader in the environmental and social justice movements. He's the co-founder of Memphis Community Against the Pipeline, Black-led environmental. And you know what? I'll let him introduce himself from there. He doesn't need the whole bio.
Look at Tennessee, you looking good, baby. And each and every one of you are looking beautiful. Look, in our district, we start every rally the same way. And this is a rally, right? And I say, who fired up? And then you say, we fired up. You ready? Who fired up? Who fired up? Say it like you mean it. Who fired up? Who fired up? We fired up because we've got to be for such a time as this. We've got to be fired up for our democracy. We've got to be fired up for our future. We've got to be fired up. We're fired up because this moment calls for each and every one of us in our beauty and in our youth to show up in a way that this country hadn't seen in a while. Right now, we have the most qualified person to ever run for President of the United States running for this office. And then we got this other guy, 34 convicted felonies, sexual assaulter, fraudster, a person who's no good, terrible, awful, bad, weird. So we got to be fired up for our person, the next President of the United States, Kamala D. Harris. Let me please give gratitude to the amazing chair of this council, the team who put this together, to everyone at the DNC, VP Harris's team, my family who's here in the audience, and our team, Daphne and Felicia Boyd, our campaign manager, and y'all, my best person in the world, the love of my life, Oceanae R. Gilliam is here. Give her some love. There would be no me without her. Thank you for being here, and don't let her out-scream y'all, because she'll do it. To District 86 that I have the great privilege of representing in Memphis and Shelby County in Tennessee. It is the honor of my life, and even when they tried to expel our movement, y'all persevered and showed you can't expel a movement. You can't expel hope. You can't expel our fight for a better future for ourselves, our unborn children, and those who are going to come well after us. Now, we know what we're up against, right? We're up against those billionaires who keep extracting wealth from the blood, the sweat, the tears of everyday, hardworking, working-class folks. We're up against oil and gas tycoons who don't care about the people that they're killing in Cancer Alley, Louisiana, or the folks that are hurting in Kingston and Cheatham County in Tennessee, or along 3 states in Virginia, in West Virginia, in North Carolina with the Mountain Valley Pipeline, while they destroy our climate for their profit. We're up against gun lobbyists at the NRA and organizations like the Tennessee Firearms Association, and the politicians who are bought by them. They've been bought to be cowards amidst an endless litany of mass shootings and everyday shootings in our communities by accidental deaths, suicide, homicides, and mass shootings, which has now become the #1 killer of children in our country. We're up against those who want things to get worse, who want to keep us in debt, who want to have a country that looks much more like a dictatorship than a democracy. And we see this in the South. If you're from the South, raise your hand. The South look good on y'all. We see this in states that are run by these supermajority Republicans. And I got to tell y'all, the litmus test for American democracy will be what happens in the South and in places that have been overlooked for so long and for too long, like Nebraska and Minnesota, where our VP is from, our next VP is from. We're up against those who have chosen the wrong side of history and the wrong present moment. They want a Project 2025 version of America that's more reflective of an 1825 version of America, where black folks and queer folks and women and children and formerly incarcerated folks and disabled folks and immigrant folks and poor folks and everybody in between and around who weren't born into gold towers or money or prestige have too often been left out of the American dream. They want us to remain outside of the American dream. But we've got a message from Vice President Harris to scabby and scheming Trump and villainous Vance. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. You can try to take us back, but we're not going back. We're not going back. We know that we are powerful. We know that we will win this election for Vice President Harris to take that oath of office on January 20th, 2025 as the 47th President of these United States of America. We know that we are powerful and they know we are powerful. My friend David and I have talked a bit about this, but in some states they're trying to have voter ID suppression laws so that you can be in your college campus and vote, but you can use a gun permit and vote. There's research done by folks at Tufts called Circle that says this about us, Gen Z and millennials. For the first time in our nation's history, we have the largest proportion of votes in an election. Roughly 41 million registered voters that can change a nation. 16 million that have turned 18 since 2020. President Biden carried young folk by 35 points, and in 2022, almost every key battleground victory that was won with young people's votes. We know what's at stake in this election. And to win, y'all, we're gonna have to build this movement. We're gonna have to build this movement for justice rooted in love. We'll need to knock on doors, make phone calls, register our family members, and drive some folks to the polls, grandmama and auntie too. We're going to do everything that we can to win and put our energy and effort to folks early voting October 16th through October 31st, and definitely on November 5th, because too much is on the ballot. Of course, Vice President Harris' name is the top of the ticket, but we know there are down ballot races, whether it's Gloria Johnson in Tennessee, running for U.S. Senate, and other great candidates that we have to ensure are elected. But more than just these names are the issues that matter to our generation. We know that justice is on the ballot. We know that a woman's right to choose is on the ballot. We know that good public schools is on the ballot. We know that living free from gun violence is on the ballot. We know that a clean environment and energy policies that are just and fair is on the ballot. We know that good jobs with good money that allows for us to have better futures is on the ballot. We know that equality and fairness and justice is on the ballot. We know that the future we've been praying for and fighting for is on the ballot. So yes, Vice President Harris's name is on the ticket, but our values and our vision for what America can be for us is on the ballot. I'm almost done. These elections are about our future. They are about our future. Where do we see ourselves 5 and 10 years from now? It is about the world that we will help to create. It is very possible that Vice President Harris could serve 2 terms, 8 years. How different the world will be with 8 years of Harris-Walz leadership. How different will our lives be when people do have access to health care? When you're not worried about being just taken down by all the student loans that you've got? How different will our world be under leadership that is connected to our moral vision for the world? We have to ask ourselves, will we grow up, be able to have children if we want one day, and afford the cost of child care when it costs as much as a college education? Will we grow up and be able to own a home for For some of us, as the first ever in our families to own a home. Will we grow up and our nieces and our nephews not live in fear of gun violence and not have to do those active shooter drills that have become so commonplace in our lives? Will we grow up and not live in fear that the air we breathe and that the water we drink are being poisoned because companies like the Tennessee Valley Authority or Elon Musk super factories or Valero plants are polluting our communities? This election for us is about whether our movement is strong enough, not only to endure, but to win. And I don't know about you, but I believe we the movement that's gonna win. I believe we are the movement. I'm from the black church. When I say we are, you say the movement. We are, we are, we are, we are. We are the movement of youth and young people, Gen Z and millennials, who are going to make Vice President Harris the first black woman and the first woman president of the United States of America. We are the movement that will carry the torch from those who marched before, fought before, and gave their lives before us to have a nation where the words e pluribus unum is not just a motto, but our reality out of many. We are one. We are the movement that will decide who wins and loses this election. We are the movement that will win, because when we fight, when we fight, when we fight, well, I'm glad to be in this movement right alongside you. We are.
Thank you so much, Justin Pearson. Keep it going for him.
Let's keep going. We are. We are.
Now, one thing that matters to me as chair, love all of our speakers, love everything that we've been doing. But I want to make sure you also got something that you can take home. So next up, we're going to have a presentation from the formerly the Biden-Harris, now the Harris-Walz youth director. Some of y'all might know her, Eve Levinson, from the campaign. We're going to get some data, we're going to get some statistics, we're going to get some training. It's all going to be about what you can do to keep the campaign going when you get back home. So Eve, if it's good to go, okay, come on up.
Hello. I have a thing. Okay, I can start. Hi all. So good to see so many familiar faces. My name is Eve Levinson. I use she, her pronouns. And I have the great pleasure, of getting to serve as the National Youth Engagement Director for the Harris-Walz campaign. Thank you. So firstly, I just wanted to start off by thanking the Youth Council, all of you who are here. Big shout out, obviously, to your chair, Andre, to the high school, college, and Young Dems presidents, and all of the folks that are doing the incredible organizing work in partnership with our campaign across the country. And also, so shout out to Tyleek McMillan, the DNC Youth Coalitions Director, with whom this wouldn't have been possible, and who's a great partner to our work and my team on the campaign. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about how to get involved with the campaign. So all of you are here today. I will say we have, I believe, over 900 young delegates, which is really exciting. Yeah, clap it up. Thank you all for all the work you did to organize other young delegates. I know it was a lot of work, and having young people participate in the process, be here at the convention, is really important, but the work can't end after this week. We need you all to go back to your communities, to talk to your friends, to mobilize your campuses, your followers to get involved with us. So there will be a longer sort of training and overview of our youth work that will be happening tomorrow as a part of Dempalooza for folks who want to go. So you can come there and we'll go into some more details about some of the tactics that we're using on the campaign. So I encourage you to go there. But I also would love everybody to take out their phone and scan this QR code. I want to pause while people do that. And if people yeah, I think it's big enough, right? Oh, you guys can't. That's fine. I'll give it to you, Andre. Don't worry. I'll text it to you. I appreciate you wanting to participate. So this is the one-stop shop for all ways to get involved with our youth engagement efforts. We at the campaign take the youth vote very seriously, and as you just heard from Governor Walz, that comes from the top down. And I will just say as well that working on this campaign and having been on this campaign since January, it's very clear to me that this is a campaign that has candidates and senior staff that really value and understand the importance of the youth vote, and that comes directly from the Vice President herself. As you all know, she went on a college tour in the spring because she wanted to hear directly from students, talk to them, learn from them, and what she learned in those interactions and a lot of the other work that she's done over the years with so many of you all and the groups that you work with impacts how she views this work, how she continues to, and really it's just an honor to get to work for a candidate, two candidates who really value and understand the importance of the youth vote. So, what are we doing about it? We are looking at the youth vote in a sort of three-pronged approach. We're reaching young people on campuses. How many people here are students currently of any sort? Awesome. Look around, probably about 50%. And so we are reaching people on campuses through our Students for Harris Walls program. If anybody is a student and is not yet involved, please go to kamalaharris.com/students, or it's one of the links in the link tree. The second way that we're reaching young people is online. So obviously we know we all spend a lot of time online, and we've been seeing some great energy online about Kamala Harris, about Tim Walz, and that's been great. And we're going to continue to see that. Our campaign is going to continue to capitalize on that, to be reaching young people through digital ads, through working with influencers. I'm sure you've all heard. We have a few hundred content creators here, most of whom are young, that are getting to cover the convention for the first time ever in DNC history. We're also doing relational organizing and that sort of work. But we also know that the energy that's happening online doesn't happen sort of in a vacuum, right? It's directly connected to the work that we're doing in person on campuses, the work that you all do with your groups and organizing. And that brings me to the third way that we're reaching young people, which is intentionally reaching non-student youth. So about 50% of you raised your hand as being students. The other 50% aren't students, but we're all young voters. And so we're committed to continuing to identify what is bringing young people together, what is making us gather, and how do we reach that. We've done some incredible work along with our other coalitions around Copa America with our Latino engagement portfolio, around Pride festivals with our LGBTQ portfolio, and we're going to continue to be wherever there are young people that are gathering. So that brings me to, there are a ton of ways to get involved, whether you're in a battleground state, outside of a battleground state. We do weekly phone banks that will be increasing in frequency, so please do that. If folks want to be hosting their own phone banks or other voter contact events, you can do that. You can sign up to join REACH, which is our relational organizing and content sharing program. You can sign up for our newsletter. Make sure to follow us on social media. That was really my pitch. I wanted to ask you all to stay involved, but I do want to say I want everybody to think about, you all are really involved. I want you all to think about one additional thing that you can commit to do to be getting out the youth vote. And I want you to turn to somebody next to you and tell them what you are committing to do. This time I will call on you. One of you want to say something additional you're committing to do?
I'm registering all of my friends to vote.
There we go. I love it. Okay, so everybody has now made that commitment, and I want everybody to follow through on that, and then ask 3 friends to take an additional action as well. Because as you heard from Governor Walz, we know that young voters are going to make the difference this cycle, but this election is going to be really close, and it's on us to make sure that we take all of this incredible energy and online momentum that we're seeing and harness that to make sure that young people register, show up, and actually vote. And that's what we'll be doing at the campaign. We're going to continue to have ways for folks to get involved. If folks ever have questions or ideas, this is also in the link tree, but you can always email youth or students at kamalaharris.com. And just thank you so much. I'm so appreciative for your work, and can't wait to work together to have a great turnout from young people this cycle. Thank you. Who do I hand it back to you? Okay, great.
Thank you very much, Eve. I'm going to leave this up so people are able to do it. We originally were going to have a panel discussion, but, you know, we were just too excited and things kept going. So now I still got the leadership from Young Democrats of America, College Democrats of America, and High School Democrats of America all up here. And I'm going to give each of them an opportunity to tell you about their organization, a couple minutes each, and pitch, and why you should join and be active in all of them. So whichever direction y'all want to go, left to right, right to left, hey, it works with me.
I can kick us off. I know, first of all, can we give a round of applause for our wonderful chair, Andre, Chair Triber. It's an absolute privilege to be here. As you heard earlier, my name is Annika Crovey. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the chair of the High School Democrats of America. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to serve in this role. And what I really want to say here is this. To the folks in this audience who are young people, who are especially students, who want to get involved in this movement, I want you to know that there is a place for you to be here, that your voice matters in the party, and that what you are saying and doing is leading the change and building the future that we want to see. So I want to make sure that students who are my age, this might be their first election voting, this might be their first time they're even getting politically involved, they know that their voice matters and you're getting involved. And to the folks in this audience who might be a little bit older, who are here as allies and supporters who want to know how to get out the youth vote, I'll tell you this. There are young people everywhere in your communities, in your home states, in your towns and cities who care about these issues. They just need to be mobilized. They need to be reached out to. So it is our responsibility to be reaching out to younger folks, to be reaching out that hand, and to make sure that they know that their voice matters and that they can get involved. So with the High School Democrats of America, we are a national organization. We represent thousands of high school students across the country who are leading the change, who are registering and pre-registering voters starting at age 16 in many states to make sure that we are getting out the vote from the very first moment that these students can vote. And then we are continuing that effort by making sure that these students are volunteering on campaigns, getting plugged in at the local, state, and national level, because we know that this presidential election is so important, but the down-ballot races that affect our communities directly are even more important to many of these students in addressing things like book bans that are targeting our schools, especially our high school students, that are addressing things like gun violence prevention in our communities so we don't have to hide in fear about the danger of gun violence in our schools. And these issues matter. High schoolers care about these issues. We are ready to get to work, and High School Democrats of America is leading the charge to make that possible. So make sure you stay involved, and I'll pass it over to Carolyn.
Hi, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Carolyn Salvador Avila. I am the national president for the College Democrats of America. I know I've seen a lot of college Dems at this convention, so I'm so happy to see you all out there. But I definitely want to echo what Annika's saying. This is the election to make sure that you're getting involved, that you're getting out the vote wherever you are, no matter what state you're in, if it's red, it's blue, it's purple. I know I come from Nevada, so we're not always clear-cut, woo, Nevada. But we want to make sure that we're getting involved in every level possible. So obviously High School Democrats, as she said, has a fantastic job to make sure that you're getting started from the very moment that you're able to get voting. In College Democrats, we're making sure that everybody that's kind of already eligible, that's in that space, is taking advantage of that opportunity to vote, to organize, to get out there with their friends and knock on doors, to make sure that they're tabling so that their friends know what exactly is on the ballot. Because we're fighting for democracy in this election, guys. So we gotta make sure that we're staying involved. I urge you guys to take a look at the College Democrats in your state. Look up and see if there's a chapter at your university. If there isn't, start one up by yourselves. Get your friends together and contact us. We're here to help you, but we want to make sure that we're getting everybody out there to vote blue up and down the ballot this election. Feel free to come up to us. We're always approachable. I know on both sides here we've got some very approachable people as well, but we want to make sure that we're getting out that vote. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for being here, and I'm going to pass it on to Quentin.
So, oh, does this one work? Oh yeah, I can hear myself. Hi, I'm Quentin. I am the president of the Young Democrats of America. Proud to be the president of the Young. Proud to be president of Young Democrats of America, nation's largest youth partisan organization. We have 23,000 members across 50 chartered units, from Guam to New York. Yeah, there you are. From states ruby red South Dakota to blue states for California. We are our organization of our chapters. We're a proud federation. The work of our organization happens on the ground in communities like yours around the country, whether that's at a local chapter or a state chapter. There's amazing work happening for Young Democrats organizations across the country. I'm proud to just kind of help coordinate the collective chaos that is organizing at its soul, but it's a really promising and valuable work, especially right now when young people are so excited and energized. I'm sure you have all seen it this week, and you'll continue to see it back in your communities. I would just encourage folks, get involved with your local Young Democrats chapter, get involved with your state chartered unit or your state chapter. There's really great work. Obviously, we're focused on the presidency and vice presidency, but there are chapters who are working on U.S. Senate races. I see my Ohioans in the room who are going to make sure that we re-elect Senator Brown. I see my Indiana president in the room who's pushing the envelope and is going to make sure that we start winning elections in Indiana and start building that bench back so that we can flip Indiana blue. I see folks from Washington. I see my friends who came all the way from Guam. They're all doing fantastic work, but they're focused on the Senate. They're focused on the House. They're focused on local elections. They're focused on city council, school boards. They are passionate about electing young people and people who share our vision for America up and down the ballot, because that's how we win and that's how we build power as young people, by electing not just young people, but people who share our progressive values of a brighter future and a better tomorrow. So please get involved with your local Young Dems chapter, get involved with CDA, HSDA. We go all the way up to 35 at YDA. Some states go up to 40. We're a big tent in terms of age, but that's enabled to make sure that young people, whether you're a high schooler and this is your first convention, or you're like 30 years old and you've never been politically active before, and you are finally coming into it now, and you're still looking for a space where nobody has gray hair, we are going to be a home for you. Get involved. We do some fantastic work. Our chapters do some fantastic work, and we're going to win not just this election, but elections up and down the ballot. And I'm passionate and excited to be in this fight with you all. So thank you for giving me a few minutes.
Thank you very much to, I guess I'll call you our panelists, but to our leaders of our young organizations. Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and wrap up here, folks. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We need to give a big thank you to someone that this would not have happened without, which is our Youth Coalition staffer, Tyler, over there. If you see him in the tan jacket, personally thank him for making this come together. We could not have done it without him. This is just what I'm going to leave us off with, is a little story. The youth energy is real. Y'all know it from being here, but I want you to know other people are seeing it. And here's how I know other people are seeing it. So I gave an interview leading into the DNC. It was like a DNC preview interview. They wanted to talk to me as chair. What are young people excited about? Talk about the party energy, the issues that affect us. And then they hit me with the hardest question I've ever been asked to an interview. The reporter looks at me and she says, "Can you explain for our viewers back home, what is Brat Summer?" And they wouldn't be asking that if the branding that we had seen from the Harrison Walz campaign hadn't been so active, and that wouldn't be happening if we didn't have young people in positions of power of the campaign, if the campaign wasn't trusting young voices for messaging, for outreach. The Harrison Walz campaign is investing in young people. It's now our turn to invest in them. I hope you're going to take this energy and go home, knock on every door, register every voter, make that last phone call, and elect the entire Democratic ticket from top to bottom. Next Youth Council meeting is going to be Thursday, same time, same place at noon. It's going to be a completely different program, all sorts of other exciting stuff. I hope you'll be there. I hope you'll bring a friend, and I will see you all around. Thank you very much for coming. It is 1:26, and we are adjourned.
Hey, I was running late anyway, so it worked out really well. Because I would like.
I have so many texts and stuff to check. So between all of them,
Let's get a nice picture and then let's get a selfie.
between all of them, something will work. I'm gonna come down. Yeah, thank you.
You gotta get that good iPhone.
Everybody. And
The-
you also have a way better camera. I know. I think it's like the Wi-Fi is
Sorry, what?
putting like thousands of people in one place. And
Oh yeah, that's Thursday.
Okay, we said nice picture first.
From the hotel, probably like 4:30ish.
You know what? Julian, I can ask, come here.
It depends. I thought I was gonna like need to nap,
hey.
and now I have a lot of energy, so I don't know if I
Can
need
you
to.
take a picture of us?
You not need it?
Clean your
Okay.
camera. Oh, it's clean.
Do you need my guest?
I'm gonna,
you need my
like-
floor pass?
I'm gonna find
You want my floor pass?
those credentials. She's like here, but she knows that I'm chairing, so she didn't get them to me. Yeah, so I'm gonna get them hopefully within the next like 45 minutes.
Thank you guys.
Oh yeah. My
Yeah, Andre, you want to hop in this?
I can, I guess. Send this one to hand it to.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much. I'm sorry it got cut short.
No, no worries.
Dude, I just had got here.
When the night before they call, they say Tim Walls is showing up. I'm
That
like,
was insane.
okay.
That was
Yeah,
crazy.
I literally, because I had to take a lift here from United.
Yeah.
So I literally got they're like, oh, where are you? Come backstage. I'm like, I'm literally close to
So he was on a lift on the way here, and his driver got in a crash. Everyone's okay. Everyone's safe. But so the driver's like, well, I have to just let you on the street. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, me.
But because like it's funny, I'm sitting up here, a bunch of people are texting me photos and stuff, and then all of a sudden I just see like a text from Colby in the middle. It's like, yeah, my Lyft driver crashed. I'm like,
Oh my god.
It just was like, I was just like, yeah, I mean, it was fun. I felt like Foreign Press was
Let's
fun.
do a quick selfie, guys.
yeah. But yeah, thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much.
Let me ask around. But
I'm gi- 'cause I'm giving-
Don't advertise it 'cause I only
I'm
have-
giving you my guest pass, right?
If you have someone who you personally...
Yes.
got that program later, but something else, and I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to hear Obama.